Hello, everybody! It is us, the Paper Dungeon. And by us, I mean me, Aaron, our willing DM, and someone that you may not have seen yet. This is our new member, Jarjar. Say hello, Jarjar.
Hi, everybody. I'm
Uh,
Jarjar. Yeah.
can you tell us where we can find you and kind of what you do? A little bit about yourself, however you want to introduce yourself, really.
Yeah. So, as of right now, I'm social media, TikTok, big in terms of D&D, Baldur's Gate 3, everything in that realm. You can find me as Jar Jar Tings on all social media, spelled JarJarTingz.
Fantastic. Um, well, I don't think that I have a. Oh yeah, I do have something to say. Specifically, if you're watching this is a character one shot. Jar Jar is going to be playing the character that they will be playing in campaign two. This is just a little preview of who they are, a little bit about them, some stuff from their backstory to get a little bit of vibe. We have more of those. We have specifically a one shot for every single character. That means five one shots that we'll be playing. I'm not sure where this one lands in the order, but if you haven't seen the others, keep an eye out for them. Go check them out. They've all been great. And some of you may have even gotten to see the little bit of background behind the scenes stuff if you helped us out on Kickstarter. Um, so thank you to those of you who saw that. Thank you to those who didn't but are still watching us now. We appreciate all of you and you're very necessary. But we don't have an intro or anything. So Jar Jar, if you're ready, I am ready to get into the game.
Yeah, ready as I'll ever be.
Perfect. So, our story today takes us to a rather unique location, um, Theramon, specifically in Theramon, the Isle of Thought. The Isle of Thought is a unique place that some believe to be entirely created by another person's mind, almost like a dream that they had manifested into reality. All of the colors here are vibrant and sharp, almost like luminescent, almost glowing, and kind of a pink fog and mist uh, drifts through there at all points in times. It is a dreamlike location. There are no particular predators here. But there are vast amounts of flora and fauna that are entirely unique to the Isle of Thought. Um, you have arrived here with a group of druids from the Edomira Conclave. Um, they are dream druids, Circle of Dream druids, that are investigating the unique flora and fauna of this place. And you have kind of fallen into step beside them, researching your own information, getting a little training from them in various degrees. As you wake up this morning, a little late in the morning, could you describe to our wonderful Dungeoneers out there kind of who you are, what they see, a little bit about you, so on and so forth?
Yeah, so of course, I groggily wake up. Oh, dang it. And I kind of try to pull the end of my hair out as on the end. It's a little blade. Forgot to put the cap on it before I go to bed. And most of the druids were kind of still getting used to me as I don't really look like them. I'm kind of more in raggedy clothing, almost hag like. And I'm like talking to people. It's just more cold and more somber today. I'm kind of just more at peace after really long travel, looking through my bags of all my herbs and spices, trying to figure out some more potions that I could keep, or maybe even some more inventions later on, and kind of just sticking to my own right now.
Absolutely. Um, I should ask, what is your name as well?
Of course. So my name is Medora, of course, by my adoptive mother, as it means mama's gift.
Fantastic. So as you wake up in this fine morning, it's pretty warm here on the Isle of Thought. It's semi-tropical, not to the point where there's palm trees and everything, but the sun is high in the sky at this time of day. Hour-wise, we'd say that it's probably waking up at a normal time to wake up around 10 a.m., maybe even closer to 10:30. Um, you open your eyes, stretch, pull your bladed hair out of your back, Um, uh, do you got to visit the rest of the druids? Kind of, what do you do on this fine day?
Yeah. First off, I kind of do my daily routine of checking my pocket for the locket that I have,
Mm-hmm.
just opening it, still just looking at it, seeing if they'll pop up sooner or later. And I just go, ah, dang it. Oh, my mama, they ain't showing up today. Whatever. Put it back in my little satchel and just, kind of leave my tent, look around. I'm kind of
Absolutely.
just scanning the area still for. I'm a really big person when it comes to trying to find herbs, plants whenever I can. Um, in the morning time,
For
just trying to
sure.
see like what's going on and like maybe even like just looking through, see if I have any matches of like a plant to another in my book of
Mm-hmm.
notes to try to see, is this poisonous? Should I
Absolutely.
use it? Yeah. So that's
Maybe,
kind of
maybe
like the
not.
base day.
The as you're kind of looking around, wandering for herbs, you do notice off in the distance, kind of huddled over a patch of unique fungi. Um, Petriva. Petriva is a human with soft brown hair, kind of like doe-like eyes. Um, Originally, Petriva was, I mean, he still is, pretty mild-mannered, um, but a little bit shy, but he really has opened up to you recently. Um, and One of the unique things about Petriva is that around him, it always smells a little bit like orange flowers. Partly because his favorite drink, orange tea, which he makes for you regularly. Um, the other part, you're not quite sure because he kind of just smells like it all the time. It might be a druid thing, um, but you've never met another druid that like always smells like a fruit. So it might just be a Petriva thing. But Petriva is huddled over a kind of a what's the term for a group of mushrooms? I would like to call it a grove, but I know that that's wrong. Um, a patch of mushrooms is what I'm going to call it. But yeah, these mushrooms are kind of like a faint glowing purple with big caps that seem covered in a bluish dust. Um, but he does not appear to notice that you've woken up.
So I kind of just slowly walk up behind him and I like just gently put a hand on his shoulder. And in like a joking way, it's like, ain't got my orange tea ready this morning, huh?
He like startles a little bit when you touch him because he was so deeply engrossed in thought. Um, but he looks up to you and smiles. Um, his eyes always seem a little sad, but that's just because of how he looks. He's actually a very happy person. But he looks up at you and says, Medora. I actually have it brewing right now. I expected you to be up a little bit earlier, but I'm sure that it's still good and we have plenty left. Would you like some?
Oh, oh yes, of course. I know I kind of slept in the day. I stayed up a little too long last night. So it's pretty groggy this morning. My brain is way more just jumbled than I thought it was going to be this morning. I think the spirits got to it before I did.
He
But that's great.
he gives a soft chuckle and he stands up and he says, "Well, it was a beautiful night out tonight. The last night the stars were out and the moon was in the sky, and I understand wanting to stay up to just experience it. But come. We
Of
have
course.
much to speak of, and we don't want the tea to get any colder than it already is. Although cold orange tea isn't bad. Um,
Now just a little bit of ice, add some spices. I think I got some probably some sugar salt. Like rock salt. See, brain still jumbled. Rock salt, rock sugar, whichever you prefer. You could probably put it in there, put some ice. I think it'd be pretty good for it's still warm. I'm like trying to fan my outfit because it's just so
mhm,
dark and feeling like, whew, I know I'm burning
absolutely.
up right now.
Yeah. Unlike everyone else here, who is all wearing like pretty light, flowy material, a lot of like um oh gosh, a lot of linen, some like just real casual clothes that are all homespun out of like cotton. Um, yeah, you are in much heavier garb. Uh, just seen as where you come from, which was always pretty muggy, but it wasn't exactly like the sun was hitting you all the time. You had to protect yourself from the elements. Um, but he brings you over to the campfire and pours you a small cup of orange blossom tea, and he says, "You know, I was researching today. Um, the thought scour spores over there, and they're just wonderful, beautiful things. Um, I just every day that we're here, I just discover more of the beauty of the world that we live in."
Yeah, something just about nature. I've always been it for most of my life. And it's just that it's always alive and it's always changing. It's always growing and evolving to either adapt to its current situation of being in a bad spot or just for the future, like continuing itself. So, yeah, you seem pretty occupied with them spores, and sorry to take your
Oh
attention away
no,
from
no, not
them.
at all.
But,
I'm
uh,
always happy to speak with you.
uh,
Um,
well, I'm truly delighted.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. I hate to keep going on about the research and everything. Um,
Oh, tell
so,
me all about it. We both bonded over the love of research. Tell me more.
well, it is pretty interesting. So, as you know, the Isle of Thought, uh, well, people aren't even really sure if the Isle of Thought is real. Not that it like exists in myth, but that it's like someone's dream or perception of reality made manifest. And honestly, I kind of believe that that may be the case.
Mm.
Um, but these thought scour spores are different from everything else around here. They are fully unique and almost feel as though if everything else here isn't real, then maybe they are. And
Mm.
I've been doing a couple of experiments with their uses and everything like that. They appear to be able to shield themselves from the perception of others, and I've done a little bit of research and experimentation that they may even be able to be used to protect oneself from divination magics,
Mm.
or even to give some limited amounts of visibility, but not in the same way as traditional invisibility that bends light around a person to hide them from the visual aspects of others, but rather to bend the perception of oneself out of existence so that if someone were to be looking directly at you, their mind would tell them that you are not there.
Oh.
It is fascinating. I've never seen anything like that in all my years of study. They're wow. And I've been trying very hard to converse with them. Mushrooms, not my specialty, but they are just fascinating, beautiful things. And I'm every day I'm so thankful that we journeyed here, and especially that you've joined us,
Ah,
and that you can
I'm
experience
glad.
these things with us at the same time.
Yeah, Mama told me a lot about some of this stuff in her letter, and of course, she sent me another eye, which was kind of odd, but the letter told
Yes.
me a lot on that. How this place was truly magical and, like you said, dreamlike, and I wanted to know more about that. So I'm really thankful that you guys let me stay at your tent because I know I don't quite look, inviting, friendly, but I thank you for all giving me this opportunity to stay here. Do you know if those mushrooms would be upset if I maybe, poked at them a little bit to get some of that dust?
Oh, not at all. We actually
Ah,
have we've been harvesting them. Well, I have. All of the other druids have been a little suspicious about them. They haven't found as much interest in them as I have, but I have an entire trunk filled with them. I've been gathering them for the past 5 days, kind of in secret. Um, of course, I've asked their permission to be harvested first. Um, But if you would like any, I already have in my tent. I have a trunk full. If you
Oh,
would like some.
if you'd be a doll and if I could have some dust or even a little mushroom, if they'd be willing to sacrifice themselves for a potion or two, I'd be more than delighted. Just so that I can, add it to my notes, have some research for myself, because I know you can't hog all of it.
Absolutely. I would never hide anything from you.
Oh,
Um, he takes you over to his tent and he opens up. It's literally a it is a chest that you could fit like two full-sized people in. Like it is a large like it's practically like a plus-size coffin. Um
Petriva, I'm not going to ask where you got this chest from, but it's pretty big.
it's homegrown.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's.
you actually see
Oh,
that he's like, sorry, there's a lot of pollen in the air.
yeah, I was not
Um
ready for that.
Yeah, the chest doesn't have like individual slats. It appears as though he has fully grown a wooden box from like a tree. He just asked it to grow in this shape and then lift its roots out of the ground. To just fully make a chest with a separate lid that doesn't have a hinge. It's just set on it. And he
Wow.
opens it up and it is just filled like three-quarters of the way with these thought scour spores.
I wave at him, try to be nice, because I can't hear him at all. I'm just like, hey,
I mean,
everybody. Do they talk? Do they
he's
talk like
like,
that? Or do.
I'll guide you through it. Um,
Okay. All right.
and he kind of offers his hand to you to take. And he says, "Okay, I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to try to feel the energy in the room around you. It's not life or death. It is a different source of energy. That is the consciousness of natural life. Could you make a nature check for me?
Yes. Let me bring up my form as well.
Character sheets. Hey, it's the first roll. First roll of a brand new character.
A 10?
10. I will also give you advantage because you're being guided through it. I forgot to mention that.
Okay. Gotta roll again because it fell off.
I
There we
believe.
go.
I believe.
Still a 10.
Still a 10. 10 is an average roll. You have you ever meditated?
Yeah, I've meditated ever so often.
I mean, like
Just trying
you as a
to.
person.
Oh, yeah. In person? Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever had that experience where you're like, probably really early into your like attempts at meditation, where you're like trying to figure out if you do actually feel anything or if it's just your
Yeah.
brain trying to tell you that like you feel different than just being awake?
Hmm.
It's like that where you're like, maybe I can feel it, but at the same time it might just be because I'm wanting to feel something and the room is a little hot and like I'm holding hands with this nice guy and it smells very overpoweringly of oranges like in the tent. So it's like it's hard to know whether or not you really connected with something, but you think maybe. And he says, "So now that you've begun to grasp the essence of it,
Uh-huh.
you can say it verbally, you can say it mentally, however you think is right to express your desire for them to help you in whatever their purpose is, and the changing to something new."
Let's see. Hey, I ain't gonna hurt y'all. I'm not good at this, Patrive. I'm not good.
You're doing
Um,
great.
I can't give much, but I'd love for some help. I want to get to know y'all more and have some permission without hurting y'all. Um, I couldn't hurt a fly, so I mean, uh, uh,
Question: are you proficient in nature?
I don't think I am. Give me 1 second. Mm-mm. Kind of
Okay.
like, well, have a, mm,
The answer is maybe.
Yeah, it's a maybe because some of my stats rolled pretty balanced somehow.
Well, so the reason that I'm asking is I would allow you to. What I'm asking for is a charisma roll that you can either add your proficiency bonus if you're proficient in persuasion or nature.
Oh, that I'm way more proficient in nature and when it
Yeah.
comes to those comparisons.
So just roll me a nature check in that regard then.
16?
16. You kind of still have your eyes closed, but as you peek a little bit, you do actually see the spores float up and fill a couple of bottles for you.
Oh,
And he
uh,
says, "You did fantastic. The
uh,
spores are very excited for whatever opportunities that you provide them in the future."
uh, well, thank y'all so much. I'll use it as much as I can. Y'all are true blessings. Oh, my mama, y'all are true blessings. Oh,
He says, "How have you gone to any work regarding summoning recently? I know that we've been
yeah.
trying over the past. Any success yet?"
I tried to summon it, but its butt came out. It was just his butt. It wasn't anything else.
But
And
that's more progress than we've had in the past. So I
yeah,
think that
last time we
that's
just got his foot. So I mean, I think it's more thankful that we got more than half of it. But
absolutely.
fingers crossed, it
It's
works
good to know that
better.
you're improving. Um,
But I'm trying my best.
well, um, do you have any plans for the day? Do you have anything that you'd like to research? I'd be happy to join you, but I don't want to take away from your time planning and researching whatever interests you.
Oh, well, thank you, hun. But I know you got a lot of stuff on your plate today. With me, I'm just going to probably research some more herbs, look at my notes a little bit, because I have some stuff from my previous adventure that I still have to unpack. It's a lot. So I don't want to put that kind of that gree, that bad energy on you. So you go do your thing. I'll do mine. We can meet back up for dinner, maybe sit outside for the stars again.
That would be wonderful.
Ah,
If you need anything, please just call for me. You can ask anyone around camp, as you know. Um, but I'll probably be spending most of my day with these spores. Just wow, absolutely incredible.
of course, just don't sniff too many. Don't want you hallucinating again.
That was one time
Look, it
or
was
twice.
3 times. You don't
Well,
remember 2 of them because you started running around the camp naked and I had to throw some leaves at you.
look,
It was a lot.
I was not created with a law that forces me to be encased in these man-made garments. And frankly, the fact that all of us have just fallen into this societal expectation is,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have to admit it's a little crazy. Um,
Mm-hmm. Say
but
that again whenever you try to freaking run off a cliff again. I had to throw away that entire box of hallucinogens because it was a lot stronger than we
well,
thought.
yeah. He kind of sheepishly like heads to the front of the tent to the exit. And he's like, "Well, I mean, as I said, if you need me, I'll try not to run off of any cliffs in the meantime." Um,
Alrighty, well, you be careful out there.
absolutely. He kind of heads out of the tent. What would you like to do? There's a lot of flora and fauna on the Isle of Thought. If you would like to do a little bit of investigation of that and see if you can find something new. Additionally, one of the uh, unique traits of Theramon as a whole is at some point in time, with enough mastery, people are able to fully create physical manifestations of their thought. Which is why they sometimes believe that this entire place is just someone's big imagination. Um, but like there are people who are able to create like small implements, like small handheld physical items using only their mind alone. So you could do some experimentation with that, or you could try. Um, some more summoning again. There are plenty of options if you have anything else that you would like to do. How do you want to spend the rest of your day? It's probably hitting around a little afternoon at this point in time.
Alrighty, so I think first I want to start experimenting with some of the spores that I just recently got with the mushrooms. I want to try mixing them with two different bases. I like both water and oil to see how it would kind of settle and mix with some of my other herbs. I'll probably do that a little bit, write some more notes on that. Um, Once after that, I'll probably leave my tent, walk around a little bit, of course, saying, "Hey, how's it going, y'all? Doing great? All right." Go on throughout the camp. Then I'd probably go into the forest and see if I can find some other plants and stuff that I don't have like research yet for.
Fantastic. So first off, could you roll an Arcana check for me?
Yes. Let's see.
Rolling dice.
12.
Dice. 12. You're for the most part pretty experienced in potion making. Your family, that's like a good part of what their business is. So you're starting with just the basics of it. You aren't able to create any like fully functional potions by any mean at this point in time. That would require a couple extra steps, some more additives, some slightly more costly reagents. But you are able to ascertain relatively well what base fits most with these spores, because obviously, like, if you're wanting it to be drinkable, you probably don't want oil to be the base. And if you want it like to be a salve or something along those lines, water is tough for that, because it's slicker, it's more watery because it's water. Um, you do think that these spores have the capability to be used in kind of either application, whether or not it be a drinkable potion or in like an applicable potion, maybe even something that you could throw and have kind of a splash effect. Although you're not sure exactly what it would do yet, you do think that it has the correct properties for almost anything you really want to do with it. Um, as you get done with your research there, say your hellos, there are in this camp, there are around 15 of the Edamira Conclave. All sorts of different druids of varying levels of skill. Most of them are pretty new when it comes to like being a druid. They're all pretty fledgling researchers. They're looking for to just experience a bunch of new things. You see Tannin. Tannin is an Earth Genasi. Bit rough around the edges. At one point in time, got into a fair bit of trouble before he actually joined the conclave, and has really smoothed out a real gemstone in the rough type of situation. And he waves as you head by. There's also Leonis Stillbell. Stillbell. Oh my goodness, I'm falling apart on words. Stillbell is a tiefling. She is thin and lithe, and she actually comes from a generational lineage of druids. So her family's been part of the conclave for generations here. A bit of a fiery temper, but it's more about passion than anger. She just gets very excitable. And then, of course, you see the other people. You've been with these people for, some weeks at this point in time. And as you head into the forest, could you roll how about a survival check for me to try to locate some
Oh
new
boy, will
flora and
I.
fauna?
21?
21, absolutely. You head off into a side of the forest. You head off into the west side of the forest, a direction that you have not as of yet traveled. You've been spending a lot of time in the other directions. This is the last one to cover. And once you get past kind of the boundary of like safety, so to speak, like the area that you for sure know has been scouted, you do encounter a new plant that you you have seen written about in your book, but you've never encountered personally, called a dream eater. Um, these resemble kind of like a Venus flytrap kind of feel to them, um, except they are translucent, kind of like a jellyfish of sorts. Um, and they actually cannot be touched on the material plane. Um, it's a reverse situation to being on the ethereal plane, where you can see the things on the material but not touch it. It's like that here. So the Dream Eater plane actually exists in the ethereal plane, but you can still see that it's here on the material, but you can't touch it. So it's very difficult to research these things. They're few and far between. You know that they gain sustenance from creatures that float through the ethereal plane, um, and because most of them are just kind of like drifting through space in the ethereal plane. But they are completely harmless to people on the material, and absolutely beautiful, a little kind of dreamlike in their quality. And additionally, kind of darting amidst the woods behind them, you see an almaray. An almaray is resembles a stingray in some regards, but they do not swim in water. They're land-based creatures that float on waves of mental energy. So they defend themselves with a kind of psychic shock that doesn't actually hurt people. It just stuns them enough for the almaray to float through the trees as quickly as they can. Which is not very fast. It is a very good thing that they do not have a lot of natural predators here, because they would be in a lot of trouble. Could I ask you, what is your passive perception?
12.
12, okay. You are following the almaray a little stealthily because, you know, you don't want to scare it off too much, and writing down notes about it. When out of the corner of your eye, you see a kind of a flash of white that is very off from the rest of the world around you in terms of color. Um, you don't catch quite sight of what it was, but it looked like cloth.
Am I just going crazy? Did I take my herbs today? Petriva must have put some hallucinogens in that orange tea, because if you did it again, he's going to get a talk once I get back. I'll just continue about, I'll brush off a little bit, like, probably hallucinating again. Great.
Fantastic.
Another potion I have to take.
You keep going about your day. A few minutes pass, and then once again, out of the corner of your eye, you see that flash of white. Like
All
something
right.
is moving.
This
farther,
ain't funny.
farther south, but it's still a little deeper into the forest.
If there's anybody out here from the group, this ain't funny. Tannen, Leonis, this ain't funny. Y'all played this last time.
No one responds.
Ooh. I will decide to investigate where, maybe further on in the direction that I thought it went.
Can you roll an investigation check for me?
Yes. Oh, no! Drop my die.
Maybe we can't roll an investigation check.
7.
We'll have to wait and see. 7. It is tough to catch a full glimpse of what it is. You do start seeing it more and more as you head in the direction that it was. Never quite a full vision of what you're seeing. Just like as you turn a corner on an off-bitten game trail, you see off in the distance some drifting cloth behind a tree. You head towards that tree. It's not there anymore. And then out of the corner of your vision, you see that movement again. You turn towards it. You just kind of keep following, trying to track where this thing is. It takes you a while to catch up to it. and then eventually you end up uh, on kind of the outcropping of a small waterfall. This little tiny creek, or creek, depending on where you're from, flows through the forest here, and then falls off a little bit of a drop, where floating above, um, where that stream falls off, the water hitting the ground below, creating a fair bit of noise. There's a ghostly figure floating above the water, clad in a full white gown that almost is robe-like. Um, a headdress wrapped around their neck and hanging over their head. You're unable to see their face from this angle, but they are floating above where the water crashes off the side.
You okay down there? I do.
Oh, she is on eye level with you. So like, yeah.
Okay.
She's just float. Like if this is my hand and the stream is here, you're approaching from this angle, and she is floating above the water, right over where it falls off into the lake below.
Oh, okay. Let's see. I guess I will. Shoot.
Some part of you does feel like this is like she doesn't feel harmful. In some way, she feels familiar. Like you know that this figure is. You're also not sure, but sure why. But you do feel as though it is a she. I should mention that. But you also don't think that they. It's hard to tell if they bear you ill will. It doesn't feel good looking at them, but at the same time, it isn't like they're. You don't think that it's going to attack you by any means.
I've seen you probably can't even hear me or can talk, Miss Ghost Lady. I've seen you a few times back at home. Now this is one time too many. I'm gonna figure out who you are because this is driving me insane. Because I keep on thinking I'm hallucinating, but now I know that I don't think you're a dream now anymore. I really don't. And what I'll do is I have a couple trinkets in my pocket, just kind of like of some things I've picked up to kind of maybe see if it belongs to somebody. It's almost like the missing the locket, or like a missing shoelace or a button, where it's like it might have some kind of soul attachment to it, where like if a spirit does show in front of me, I kind of just hold it up and see if they maybe have a reaction to it. First, I'll pull out a white button. I'm like, this you?
There is no particular reaction.
Shoot. I pull out a red, almost like really thin bow. Are you Tina?
Their cloak continues to furl in an unseen wind.
All right, last I'll pull out my like gold locket, and I'm like, maybe you my mama?
They don't move by any sense, but can you roll a perception check for me?
Yes.
Actually, not a perception check. Can you roll a wisdom saving throw?
Oh!
It's a much different roll that I'm going to ask from you that requires the same stat, but it has very different implications.
Yeah. That's 20!
That's very good. You hold up the locket. And she doesn't move. But for a moment you get this gut sense that something is wrong, and you're not sure what it is. Until you realize that there's no sound coming from the brook. There's no sound of the water hitting the pond below you. There's no birds chirping. The wind in the trees isn't rustling. And you start to get this ear aching tinnitus. That is that sound of silence and the blood pulsing through your body as you wince from the pain. She turns her head over her shoulder, and you see that within the hood there is nothing. It is just a void of darkness with perhaps even faint bits of stars, as though you are looking into the depth of space itself. And as you see this lack of a visage, she holds up her hand and points down over the edge of the waterfall, until the sound in your head gets so unbearable that you close your eyes fully, and then all of your sound is back. You are not in pain anymore. You hear the sound of water running, the trees and the birds, and the woman in white is gone.
Well, that was an experience. Let me put that back in my pocket. Let me go see what she was pointing at. I try to very cautiously try to see where she was pointing, because you said it's over the
Absolutely.
creek. Yeah, I'm trying to look over.
Can you just roll a preliminary stealth check for me?
Yes. Oh gosh. Okay. 8.
8. You aren't. You will have advantage because of the sound of the water.
Ooh.
That'll help conceal some of your movement.
12.
12. That's above average. You creep up to the edge of this small fall off, this drop off, and gaze down where the woman pointed. You see 2 men. They appear to be soldiers. They're wearing bits of armor, very medieval focused.
God.
Can you roll a perception check for me as well?
Yes.
This is they appear to be speaking to each other.
13.
13. It's hard to catch it because while the water is concealing your presence better, it's also making it harder to hear really what they're saying. But you do catch bits and pieces, where one of them says to the other, "Oi! Yeah, go run back to camp and tell Larkspur that we found him. I'm gonna head forward, see if I can scout a bit more, but you should probably get headed down over." And then the other one says, "Yeah, all right, it sounds good. I'll go ahead, Dan. Keep safe. Don't do anything too stupid." Yeah. Old bastard. And then he runs off into the woods.
Oh God. Oh, spirits, help me, please. I gotta go back. I got to. Where am I? Okay. I just turn 180, hoping I'm going the right direction.
Yeah.
And I'll start heading that way.
Can you roll a survival check for me?
Yeah,
see if you can kind of
I
okay, Moss is on this side of a tree. We've got sun over here. Remember, our camp was located here. How you doing?
That one.
Oh, that's not good. So you turn, and you're 180 degrees. Perfect. And you just start running. You aren't
I didn't
quite
see that tree
sure
before.
if you're heading the right direction or not, because you're in a bit of a panic. But while you are running, you whip around the corner of a tree and slam full on body into body with another of the soldiers.
Oh God.
Not one of the original 2. And he staggers back and then looks at you and says, "Whoa!" and then pulls out his sword. Could you please roll initiative?
Yeah, I can. 17.
17. That's perfect. Both of you are surprised in this situation. Neither of you expected to see a person in the woods at this point in time. He will go after you.
Okay.
So you will have the first round of combat for you. What would you like to do on your turn?
All right. I'm like, all right, man. I'm sorry. I pull out my 2 sickles of silver and gold, and I will use both. As
Perfect.
we bumped each other, we're in
Yep. Melee
base.
combat. So it'll be your action and then the bonus action to make another attack without your ability modifier to the damage roll. So first
Yes.
attack.
Okay. Where is it? Where is it? Oh my gosh, my stuff is so disorganized. 6.
Welcome to the first round. 6 to hit.
Okay.
That's not very good.
Oh no, sorry. Rolled wrong dice. Wrong dice. Wrong dice. Oh my gosh. I'm surprised from being surprised. 13.
13. 13 is enough. These are not fully armed guards. These ones are the scouts.
Okay.
So you are able to hit with your first attack. So now you roll damage.
There we go. 3.
Okay. And then that's plus your ability score. So that'll be, I think, strength for sickles, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
okay.
got a plus 0.
Sounds good. I just wanted to make sure.
I'm very weak.
All right, and then bonus action.
5.
Is this to hit?
Sorry.
Roll the hit first.
Wait, no, that's right. I was like, right dice, yeah, it's still a 5.
Okay, so that one will miss. The first attack that you swing at him with the silver sickle, he's caught off guard. He still manages to leap back a bit, so it only rakes him across the arm, cutting pretty deep. The second one, not quite as much luck. He's got his feet under him now, and he fully readies himself. On his turn, he is going to pull out a short spear and try to jab it at you. Watch out, guys. It's time for a meeting.
I wait as my impending doom.
He's distracted by the alarm that he set to start a meeting, and it's light deactivated, so you have to hold it. So anyway, I rolled a die. He's apparently still not very on his game. He's still on his back foot. I'm assuming that a 7 won't hit you.
No.
Yeah. So you actually managed to catch it kind of like with your sickle and push it away. It is back to your turn. There's only 2 people in here, so we're just duking it out.
Yeah,
1v1.
of course. Let's see. I am actually going to run back 5 feet.
Leaving his range will provoke an opportunity attack. Fair warning.
Let's see. You know what? I'll do a double attack again with my sickles.
Okay. As a reminder, if as an option, you do also have your evoke the soul ability that you could use as a bonus action.
Shoot, I do. Okay.
If you would like to do that instead of your second attack, you could choose to do that, and then that'll pump up your damage for the rest of the rounds, if that is an option that you're interested in. This is a new ability. This is a homebrewed ability for those of you watching. So if you're confused as where this is coming from, this is where it's coming from.
I feel like with this one person, I'll be all right. As long as it's this one person.
Sounds sick.
I'll still do my double. 10?
10 will miss.
Dang.
I'm going to tell you right now, attack rule wise, you're looking for a 13.
Nat 20.
That'll hit. So how Nat 20s work, this is a fantastic experience. Just as a reminder, you will take the maximum amount of damage for the roll. So if sickles are a D4,
I think I have on here.
I don't know. No one ever uses sickles.
D4.
D4. So it'll be 4, and then roll your dice again. So it'll be a 4 plus your D4.
5.
Fantastic. Not the greatest ever, but it ain't bad. If that is the end of your turn, he will look at you and he says, "Boy, now, come along quietly. We ain't gonna hurt. Well, I don't want to hurt you none." And he tries to stab you with his spear again.
No, I'll never fall for a man like you. As I'm completely oblivious to why they're there.
That's somewhat deep, actually. He rolled a 18 to hit you.
Oh, that one hits. Okay.
And that will be just 3 damage from the spear. And he says, "If my guess is right, then the boss is looking for you. And look, I'm told to bring her in alive, so you don't have to worry about it, but I don't want to hurt you none."
I don't think I'm the person you're looking for, and I want to try to persuade. Please.
Yeah, roll a persuasion check.
Okay. 19. Wait.
19.
Yes, 19.
This is interesting. 19 is a high roll. How dumb is this guard? This is a fantastic question. Tell you what, this is what he's going to do. You will still have your turn, but he does hold up a hand and he says, "That's a fair point. I might be wrong."
We just bumped into each other, and then you decided to pull a spear on me, all right?
This is what I'm gonna do. I've got the description right here in my bag. I'm gonna look at it, and then we'll go from there. Savvy?
Party, yeah, we'll do that.
Great. So he will not attack you on his next turn, because he's going to check the description. Is there anything you would like to do on your turn? I'm not going to leave combat quite yet because he's still at the ready.
Dang, I was going to see if I could try to disengage and flee while he's looking at his paper.
You could use your action to disengage and then start running away.
That's what I'm going to do because my focus is more getting back, and I'll deal with him later. If he shows up later, I'll deal with him later.
He doesn't even fully notice you running away as he looks into his bag, pulls out a description. As you're running away, you'll be able to move 30 feet on that turn. He's going to use his turn to look in the bag. His action. He looks in the bag. He looks at the description. He says, "Name Medora. Dark skin, blackened fingertips, hair with knives." Hey, he's doing it! Hey! He looks up from the bench, sees you running away, and he is. That is his turn, though. He will not have an action. He will use his movement to start chasing after you. This is back to your turn because he doesn't have an action right now. Is there anything else what would you like to do? Just see if you can outpace him, or
yeah, hopefully I can do this. I want to use entangle.
Ooh, that's
on
a good
him,
one. Absolutely.
And then just give me some more distance.
100%. He has to roll a saving throw, I think, for entangle.
Strength saving throw.
Strength saving throw. Can this big strong lad make it out? He rolled a 15 on that save. So what is your spell save DC? It's been a while since I've.
Mine's a 12.
12. So yes. He will kind of rip his way out of the vines. This is a very living place, so it's quite literally you imbue the roots of these trees and the plants below him to grow with a sudden burst of strength. He is able to bust his way out.
Now that's rude, hurting my fellow friends.
Is there anything else you'd like to do on your turn? I assume you run 30 feet deeper into the forest.
Yes.
I do want to double check. just to make sure. Does the thing do a thing?
They didn't do a
Okay,
thing.
it also turns the ground into difficult terrain, so his movement
Mhm.
speed will be halved while he's there as well.
Ah.
Fantastic. He is not going to be able to. He can only move 15 feet, because that's what the terrain will do. So he's going to move that 15 feet, and then he's going to try to throw his spear at you as you run off into the forest.
Okay.
It will be at a long range, so you will have disadvantage. But that is still going to be a 19 to hit.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, 16 and a 17 on die. That is there. Okay. And that is going to be another 3 damage.
Ooh, I'm cutting it close. I'm cutting it close.
So this time the spear flies through the air, magically unimpeded. Like, he just kind of closes his eyes and prays on this one. In all honesty, he's like, you're running through a dense forest. He's slowed down, doesn't have a great stance. And so you hear him say, "Oh Lord God, hear my prayer. Guide my spear." Ah! And he just hurls it. And sometimes you forget other people have their prayers answered too sometimes.
Yeah.
And it flies through in the greatest spear throw of this man's life, and it does like catch you on the outside of your thigh, like ripping through the side of it, causing you to limp a bit. It won't slow you down by any means, but you are bleeding pretty bad. You have ended up in an area of the forest which you know pretty well. You've gotten to that perimeter. So you make your way back to the camp. The druids are kind of gathered there, lazing away this afternoon to evening. As it starts to get darker, you hobble sprint into the camp.
Guys, big scary man back there. He sounded Australian. I don't
know. You see, Tannen is actually the one who runs up to you, that big Earth Genasi, and he says, "Oi, love. What are you saying? Some kind of beast
ready.
sure.
I don't know. Scary man.
A man in
I've seen him before. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to come straight here, but I was a little confused.
Calm down. Are you sure it wasn't a vision from one of the many plants around here? I mean, something got you. That's clear.
Yeah, I point to my leg. It's
let's get you taken care of first. Let's deal with the blood first.
Yeah, it's a lot of blood.
He leads you over to Petriva's tent. As Petriva has seen you wounded, he's been gathering some first aid stuff. He'll kind of pull you to the side, and starts like bandaging your leg up and stuff, using a little bit of healing magic as well. He will heal you for. I am rolling so bad on this dice today. He will heal you for 3 health.
Hey,
that's a D8, everybody. And that means that with his +2 to wisdom, I rolled a 1 on that. So yeah, he heals you a little bit, kind of staunches the bleeding, and he says, hey, what's going on? Or what happened out there? There isn't supposed to be anything dangerous in these woods.
All right, so I don't think I ever told you about my past. We never got to that point.
It's been a bit of a touchy subject every once in a while.
Well, I guess now time it is to talk about it. So, let's just say, in my past a little bit, to sum it up, made a couple people mad that I didn't want to be with them in a sense. And now they're coming for me.
Okay. And they're here?
I think so.
They're here. As you say that, you hear a sound like cracking thunder as someone fires a shot.
Oh God.
Immediately following that, you do hear someone cry out. One of the druids, presumably. Specifically, you would recognize this voice to be Malia. One of the more older of the group. You hear her voice. And immediately he turns around and he says, okay.
we're going to deal with this. Just to be
Do you
safe.
want my help with anything? Or I feel horrible. I didn't mean to come straight
No,
here.
it's okay. I'm sure that everything will be fine. They aren't after us, and so this is what we're going to do. You're going to hide. All right. Come with me. And he pulls you into his tent. He says, "Okay, I talked to you some about it before. Get in the box." And he points towards the box filled with spores.
That box?
That box. So
You know
what's
what?
I'm going to work a little bit of magic, so that if they're looking for you, look, they're not after us. We're gonna be fine. I'm sure that it was a warning shot. Maybe she even just tripped and fell. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna talk with them. I'm sure that they're gonna see that we're peaceful. Everything's all right. And if they ask to search, we're going to let them. But you're going to be fine. The spores will keep them from seeing you. They'll keep them from finding you. All right?
Okay, I got put a hand on his shoulder. It's like, just promise me we'll have some orange tea tomorrow. That's all I ask.
We'll have
That
as
you'll
much
make it
orange
through.
tea. We'll have as much orange tea as you can drink.
Okay,
Right.
I'll make that bet and I'll get in the box.
Don't worry. I'm
Okay.
not going to let him find you. Okay?
Okay.
And then you'll have to tell me more about this. All right? Because
Yes, we've gotten to that point now.
absolutely.
I'll go ahead and
All right.
get in the box. I'll put like a cloth over my face because I still don't know more about the spores. And
Yep. It would be really
I'll
awkward if
curl
you
up
climbed
and
in
I'm
the
like,
box and then just got like
ooh.
super drugged up and then like didn't leave for the next 4 days.
Yeah. It's like, that's very
so
claustrophobic.
he puts the lid on just enough so that way you can still see some light coming through and even peek your head
Okay.
up to kind of view through the crack a little bit, and make sure that you have air still. And then you see him kind of close his eyes, move his hands in a couple way, and drop some oil of some sort on the lid. And you can actually feel the spores respond to his call, and they kind of hum and even glow a little bit, to the point where your mind is almost confused because you know you're in the box. Like your soul knows it, but your mind tells you there's no box. There's no box here.
I'm tripping.
So it is a very disturbing feeling because you know that you're in a place, but your brain tells you that you're not. And Petriva leaves through the opening of the tent. You hear it's all muffled because this box is solid wood and it is very sound blocking. What goes on next, you aren't really sure because you can't hear what a lot of the voices are. You hear a couple more of those sounds like thunder. The firing of rifles. And then everything goes silent for a little bit. Can you roll a perception check for me?
Yeah. 21.
21. You put your eye up to the gap in the box, and listen as hard as you can. And eventually you do hear Petriva's voice. It's a little shaky. And he says, Sir, I promise you, I don't know why you're here, but whatever it is, we are not at fault for it. We don't have what you're looking for. Please just leave. There's nothing for you here. And another voice that you recognize with a chilling grasp on your stomach as it like it makes your whole body tense up.
Um, Another voice comes over and says, "Druid, do not presume to tell me where I can and cannot go, what I can and cannot do. I am looking for someone that I know quite well. Tell me, have you perchance encountered a girl named Medora?" Petruva says, "I don't. There's no one like that here at camp, if that's what you're meaning. Maybe I do know her, but I don't know the name. If she came across here, maybe she left. Maybe I don't know. I'm gonna roll some dice." You actually start to hear the sound of footsteps as the voices get a little louder. Um, and from that gap in the box, you see Petriva enter in front of the tent. And behind him follows another man, the man of the second voice, that you know as Larkspur. He has very coiffed brown hair that looks very well maintained. Um, these round spectacles that are gilded with gold and silver, and a mustache that is turned up at the end. He carries himself with the manner of knowing that he is not only wealthy, but better than other people. Um, Confidence oozes from him in almost like a sickly aura. Um, Wearing very refined, noble clothing that is very out of place in the wilderness where he stands. And Petriva says, "Sir, if it would soothe you and calm your worrying or concerns, you are welcome to search our camp. Please just let us take our wounded and take care of them. You have free reign to search as much as you would like. I promise you, you will not find whoever this Medora is." Um, Larkspur pauses as he looks into the camp, and for a moment, fear shoots through you as you feel as though your eyes meet and like lock. He stares for a moment, and then his eyes shift past you, and he says, "Oh, old boy, I think that you've misunderstood something. I don't need your permission." And he puts a hand on Petriva's shoulder, and he says, "And another thing, I hate the smell of oranges." Um, and then you see in his other hand a small pistol as he fires a shot into Petriva's chest. Um, okay. Ooh. Okay. Um, the shot hits him in the sternum. And for a second, he doesn't even seem to realize what's happened as he looks down at the smoking gun. And then Larkspur pulls the trigger 3 more times. Um, and Larkspur collapses on the ground. And as he's laying over there,
Larkspur walks over, nudges him with his boot. I've never understood people who like nature. And then he fires the gun 2 more times. He calls out and he says, Men, search the camp. Find her. Bring her to me. That which is rightfully mine. And, kill the rest of them. We have no need for pointless woodland creatures. And he walks out of view of the tent.
I watch all this happen, and that first shot, I have to cover my mouth and make sure I don't blow my cover. And seeing the rest of that happen, I just feel the tears roll down my face, vowing to never trust another man ever again, to either protect them or just to now end everything with any man I've ever known. And I just sit in that chest, just hoping whichever spirits or whichever God is above to protect me during this time with the last bit of strength that Petriva sent through me getting into that box. And I don't even know how much time passes by, but I do my best to be as quiet as I can.
You close your eyes as the sound of footsteps and screams and guns being fired and fires being lit as the camp around you turns into, it would be rude to call it a war zone because that means that both sides are fighting. And somehow, amidst all the pain and fire and sadness, you're lulled to sleep by the sounds of suffering and the blood-tinted smell of oranges. And as you close your eyes, you're not sure how much time passes before you open them and wake up in a small room that feels like a little too large of a box on the bed that you bought out for the night. Practically little more than a broom closet in this small inn. And you wipe away the tears from your eyes after you have repeated this nightmare that has plagued you for years now. Tell me, has Medora changed at all?
Medora's changed a lot. Yeah. She's not as bubbly as she used to be, being friendly, even with just kind hellos and everything. She stays to herself. She is almost catty towards people, where she feels like she can't trust anyone, no matter what.
Absolutely. So you arise from your bed, go about your daily tasks, and as you prepare to head out into the world, that is where we're going to end today's one-shot. This has been Jarjar Tings, our wonderful new member, who is playing Medora. I hope you had fun.
I had amazing fun.
That's kind of a rough note to end on, but I had a blast. I hope that you all watching did as well. If you want to see more of Jarjar and Medora, watch Campaign 2, which we will edit in. I'm putting so much work on Drew. We'll post in the chat. Who knows? It might be over here, it might be over there. Who knows where it is? But we will have the date for when Campaign 2 is starting, because at the time of recording, we don't know for sure. But keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye out for any additional one-shots that we have.
We'll be posting stuff on our social medias, on Twitch, on our Discord, all sorts of places as for when that is all starting. So we hope to see you there. I hope that you had fun. Jarjar, you did a fantastic job. Thank you very much for being a wonderful player today. Some of you aren't able to see him, but Drew is also in this call, being a fantastic tech person and recorder. So shout out to him. He's an incredible person. Thank you for your hard work. I'm Aaron, and I had a blast. Thank you for all watching today. We can't do it without all you viewers. The only thing that I have left to say today is the same thing I say every time. Good luck and Godspeed, everyone. We will see you next time, Dungeoneers. Goodbye.